You know, madness is a strange thing. People don't really know what it is, and that makes it kind of scary. But here's an interesting fact. I'm sorry if it's a bit grim, but did you know that Hitler borrowed the whole idea of exterminating the Jews from the German psychiatric profession? Those shrinks were killing off mental patients in Germany while Hitler was still hanging up wallpaper. I mean, um, I read that in a newspaper called the Madness Network newsletter. It's a small publication that advocates for madness liberation. They don't publish it anymore. They haven't published it in years. Actually, though, I am very much in favor of Mad Lib. Bertha was a friend of mine. She used to ride in my van. I drove a van for it. I just took people home in the evenings from a psychiatric daycare center in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, my hometown. And it was a part-time. It just helped keep body and soul together while I was working as a volunteer editor at the Lancaster Independent Press, or LIP, as we called it for short. Bertha lived in a nursing home ran by a couple, a pair of Pennsylvania Dutch fundamentalists. Martin was their name. Yeah, they had this big old converted farmhouse that sat on top of a hill by itself, north of the small town of Ephrata. You couldn't see it from the road. And in the winter, when it snowed, you couldn't even get up the driveway. I used to play the radio all the time in the van. Top 40? Yeah, it was a distraction for our minds. Most of my clients didn't like silence. I didn't really like it either. Silence isn't so enjoyable for those with disturbed thoughts. Now, there was this one song that was popular at the time. I think you might remember it. It had this chorus that repeated itself over and over. Enjoy yourself, enjoy yourself. Bertha questioned me about it. Oh, what's that song saying? It's saying, enjoy yourself, enjoy yourself. Next time the song played, Bertha asked me the same thing. What's that song saying? It's saying, enjoy yourself. It's saying, Pop is dead. What am I to make of this? I let it go. I'm just the driver. All I'm supposed to do is get these people home in the evenings, just deliver their bodies. One day, not long after that, Bertha asked me another curious question. Well, where do they get those songs that they play on the radio? I began to explain to her about radio stations, recording studios, big cities, money, but Bertha wasn't interested in those things. When I looked in my rearview mirror, I saw that she was just staring out into the window. There was another song that was popular at the time. Torn between two lovers, feeling like a fool. Yeah, remember that one? But where is he? Why won't they say where he is? Where's who, Bertha? My brother. They say my brother is dying, but I don't know where he is. You mean that's what they're saying in the song? Yes, they're singing a song about it. Actually, Bertha, if you listen, I think you'll realize that the song is about how a woman loves two men and she just can't. But Bertha wasn't listening. And now, as it usually happened when we drove up to the country north of Ephrata Mountain, all the other radio stations from the outside world just cut out and we could just get the local religious station. So I just turned the radio off. Oh, thank goodness. Listening to that radio all the time just drives me crazy. Don't you like the radio, Bertha? Oh, no. They just keep talking about my life. They certainly do not atonement a person. Bertha would like to know what I was having for supper that evening. I gave her a vicarious pleasure, I guess. She said she never got enough to eat at the nursing home. They never have dessert. We always had dessert in my home. So one day, I decided to stop at a Dairy Queen outside of Ephrata and buy her an ice cream cone. And she just stood in the parking lot, holding her cone, blue eyes shining. Oh, God bless you, Mr. Driver. I guess maybe Bertha came to trust me. Maybe that's what it was. She thought I was someone that she could tell her secrets to. We were riding up through the hills one day. It was one of those crisp, frozen days of winters with the fields all laid out in snow and a red sunset coming on. Bertha sat in her usual place in the seat right behind me, and I'd let everyone else off except for Louise. Louise, she lived in the same place as Bertha, but she never said anything. Half of her jaw was missing from an accident, and she didn't like to hear herself talk. So she just sat in the back of the van by herself and smoked cigarettes, which you could still do in those days. So now the radio's off, and I'm just focusing on the twists and turns in the road when I feel Bertha lean in close to my ear. They've got an electric chair. What? They've got an electric chair. Who has an electric chair, Bertha? At the place where you live? Yes. I could feel the back of my hair prickle. You see, I just read that article in Lip last week that I was just telling you about. That was on my mind. Bertha, how do you know this? People disappear. Okay, but how do you know it's an electric chair? Well, I've studied about these things. Yes, well, what makes you think that it's an electric chair? The lights go dim, and then in the morning, somebody's missing. No. Bertha, have you ever seen this electric chair? No, I haven't. Well, where do you think they keep it? I think it's in the basement. I keep driving. No one talks, but my mind is spinning. What if it's true? What if there actually is an electric chair in the basement of that place for nameless homeless people who no one would ever miss? I mean, what a story. Like, my God. I mean, it's not that hard I mean, I'm sure it's occurred to you too that it, what I'm trying to say is that there is credible literature which suggests that this whole world is really run by a fascist dictatorship. Do you see what I'm driving at? I couldn't just forget about that. I felt duty bound to look into it. My, my God, if there really were an electric chair in the basement of that place, one that they used for Christ's sake, and then we published it in Lip, oh, that would be the ultimate expose. It would blow the lid right off of the entire county. No, I could not just forget about that. I had to look into it. So once we got to the place, I walked Bertha and Louise over the ice to the side door where they always went in, and I said I was coming to use the bathroom. And I left Bertha and Louise in the lounge. Good night, have a good evening. I went down to the hall and through the doors, and sure enough, there was a stairwell. I went down into the basement. I thought to myself, I must be crazy. Like, here I am in the basement of this creepy place looking for an electric chair. but I had to do it. The hallway was kind of like upstairs with doors going off. I figured they wouldn't keep it behind an ordinary door, so I just passed them by. I didn't think I had much time. But then I came across this wooden door, a solid piece, not like the others. So I tried it, and it opened. But it was just a furnace room. So I had to question my sanity. Like, what did I think I was doing? I mean, I wouldn't want anyone to know about this. So I just decided to rush on down the hallway and get out. But then I saw a metal door. I might not have even noticed it except that it was open a couple of inches. There was a light on inside. And I stuck my head in to look. No one was in there. There were just a couple of freezers, one across from me, across the room, and one right by me just inside the door. But why did they have a metal door on the freezer room? Still, I went in. Don't ask me why. It just seemed like something was taking over my body, some sort of altered energy. It seemed like I could hear the walls holding up the building, making these tight, faint crunching and grinding sounds. I wanted to look on the alcove that was on the other side of the far freezer, and a few feet back into the alcove, there hung this heavy black curtain of velvet or velour, probably just the storage area. But why such a heavy black curtain? So I reached up and I pulled the curtain aside just a little bit. And there it was. It had plastic draped over it, like how fussy people have over their living room furniture, and it was an electric chair. I left quickly. I went right into the hall, not running, but fast. And then I see that there's this lady that appeared out of the door, out of nowhere, and she had this little lace Mennonite cap on her head and this face like a nasty cloud looking down on the world. What are you doing here? I belong here. No, no, I don't belong here. I was looking for the bathroom. Look, it's all right. I'm the driver. I took Bertha and Elise. Hmm. The bathroom is upstairs. Oh, right. I must have made a wrong turn. Sorry about that. Sorry to bother you. Uh, Good evening. See you tomorrow. Have a good night. But I skipped the bathroom and I went straight to the van. And I swear I could not draw a full breath or think a straight thought until I was on the other side of Ephrata down the highway going 80 miles per hour towards Lancaster. But then I thought, I still can't prove anything. I mean, what if this Martin guy just collects electric chairs? I mean, there are weirder things in the world. And just because they have one doesn't mean that they use it. Why, I didn't even check to see if there were wires attached to the damn thing. See, that's how dynamite of a reporter I am. I needed advice. I couldn't just carry this around with me. But who could I tell? Like, who could I trust enough to listen and not blow? No one. That's who. I spent the night in the lip office tossing and turning on a pile of back issues. And the next day, cautious, composed, I went to work. I planned on dropping a few veiled questions here and there, just to feel out the situation a bit. And as luck would have it, my supervisor was in the office when I arrived. She approached me. Delaney! Oh, I was just so blown away by that article in Lip last week about the extermination of the mental patients. Like, I did not know about that. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, and it just completely astonished me. Like, I mean, it makes sense considering what was happening in Germany at the time, but still completely blew me away. And it surely doesn't say much about the German psychiatric profession, right? Oh, yeah, sure doesn't. I decided in a flash to tell her. And yeah, you can imagine how it blew me away because I was just thinking about that article in Lip, and then Bertha actually told me yesterday, oh, Bertha is a very sick lady. I mean, yeah, she's pretty crazy, but in fact, there's something I've been meaning to tell you. Bertha won't be coming in anymore. Her delusions have been getting worse and worse, and we've arranged for her to be hospitalized. Hospitalized. So they were putting Bertha away. Or were they? I decided right then to not say any more, and I waited until I was helping Louise across the ice to the door, and then I asked her, "Where's Bertha today?" Oh, I don't know. She's so queer. Well, Louise, tell me, did you happen to notice, if the lights here at the home went sort of dim sometime last night? Oh, no, I don't know. When we got into the building, I asked the first woman there who looked like she worked there. Excuse me, hi. I've been meaning to say hello to Bertha. I hear she's not feeling too well. Oh, Bertha don't live here no more. They took her away this morning. Oh, where did they take her? I don't know where they take them. I freaked. I decided right then to go to the state police in Ephrata, and I said, I'm afraid there's been a murder. But didn't that spark their interest, though? A couple of detectives whisked me into a room, sat me down, and I told them the entire story, just as I told you. But the main point was, I saw the electric chair. I saw it. And when I got finished, one detective got up and he left the room, and the other one pours me a cup of coffee. Here you go, buddy. This will help calm your nerves. Then he leaves too. I could tell something was up. And it didn't take long for me to figure out what it was either. The doors open and in comes a fat guy in a brown suit, and following him are 3 virile-looking guys in white jackets. The Psycho Squad. And then he says, "Good evening," he said. "How are we doing this evening?" Wait. But those guys, they didn't stand on the ceremony. I see a wall of white jackets rushing in on me. And then I see the fat guy holding a hypodermic needle. He must have had it palmed in his hand. So I was right. They were all fascists. Every one of them. All right. I'm sorry. I give up. They relax. And then I walked, I swear, I somehow actually made it into the hallway. I don't think I expected to, but there was an empty hallway in front of me, and then the doors. And I thought I just might get away when then I feel something grab my leg, and I look down. It's a pair of white jacket knees wrapped around my knee, and then feel a whip come down on my back, and then a couple of white jacket arms wrap themselves around my chest, and then I don't care. I just keep going, and then I see a white jacket fly over my head, and my chest is free, but then another one takes place, and then there's another white jacket that flies, and there's just white jackets flying everywhere, and I stopped to take a look for a second. It's like a movie. But then I see that I'm falling, very slowly at first, like a skyscraper in a movie, and the more I lean, the faster I fall, and then I'm down, and then there's white jackets all around me. But there's the main one, the fat guy with his knee in my chest, his tongue sticking out and beads of sweat running down his little hard-set eyes, and I never felt the needle. I never felt anything. I just woke up. I looked around, and there was white above me and white all around me. I wondered if I was dead. I could hear there was music playing somewhere in the distance. Then I realized I couldn't move. But my head, I could turn my head. And I saw that I was laying in a small cot in a very narrow room. And I see that there's a white door with a small square with a head peeking at me through a couple of bars. And when I look back at the head leaves. And then it all comes back to me. Bertha, the scene at the police station. And this was a padded cell. They had me in a padded cell. Me? See, I never thought anything like this could ever happen to me, so I just fought. I thrashed and I writhed, trying to get free. But it was no use. I just ended up exhausted and drenched in sweat. I couldn't move. They had me hemmed in. So I guess I owed this a little thought. Then I hear that the music in the background was a radio. It was a radio play. Why, I think that they were singing a song. They were singing a song to me. Bertha's fine, Bertha's fine. Wait, oh wow. But how do they know that? do they know that? And then I hear an announcer come onto the radio with the news. Our top story of the day is Bertha's landing on the peaceful province of Aura here in central Uranus. I could hardly believe my ears. Her first words to reporters was a message back to Earth. I just want the driver to know that I'm all right. That everything is heavenly. Why, they even have dessert. Oh, God bless you, Mr. Driver. An amazing, peaceful feeling just spread all the way down my body. And I just lay there in my straitjacket like a dreamer in a perfect world. And I see the doors open and in comes the doctor. I think it was the doctor. He had a white coat on, he carried a clipboard, and behind him were a couple of white jackets. Oh, it's good to see that you're awake. I'm awake. You had quite the siege of it last night, didn't you? Yet, it feels like I had quite a bizarre dream. Yeah, well, how do you feel? Very peaceful. Oh, good. Glad to hear that. Maybe this afternoon you can sit up and tell us about it? Yeah, maybe. I saw that the doctor was turning to leave. Oh, doctor, where do you think they get the stuff that they play on the radio? What stuff do you mean? Oh, well, like the news and the songs. Where do you think they get it? Well, they sell it to us, and most of it's all pre-recorded, really, and we get it from LA, New York. It's big business. Why? Well, what are you laughing at? Oh, wait, no, it wasn't. I'm not laughing. No, yes, you were. Did I say something funny? No, not that funny. And I saw that he wrote something down on his clipboard, and then he left. He and the white jackets whisked out of the room and shut the door behind them. Kaboom! I never said anything to them about Bertha after that, and they really couldn't find anything wrong with me. And they just kept me there for a few more days and gave me some prescriptions and let me on my way. But I think they watched me for a while, and they may be watching me still. But I remember the announcer, he had this poem and he told me to write it down. It goes like this. In the halls of justice and law, I've seen the gavel fall on the heads of the innocent. My very own head has its lumps. From this I learned that the state is one cruel mother. Once giving life, it loves to smother it up with glee. It's better to lay low here with me, my love, than to try to climb the tree of society. Forget vanity. The only safe harbor is insanity.